In this tutorial, we're going to use Adobe CC Illustrator CC 2020 to do Classroom in a Book Chapter 4, which is all about editing and combining shapes and paths. So this one gives you a lot of opportunities to play with tools to kind of create different elements for this poster. So we're going to make the trailer and the parts of the trailer. We're going to play with a bit of the tent and part of the fire. So let's go ahead and open up the start file. So file open. Let's go ahead and grab that start file and go open. Let's do a file save as and a first initial last name underscore Adobe Illustrator Classroom in a Book Chapter 4, and Illustrator's fine. I'm putting it in my lesson 4 folder and pushing save. So if you look at our artboard here, we've got kind of the basics of the elements, and then we've got quite a few elements we're going to be creating to create that poster itself. So let's go ahead and go into our first one. Our first one is going to be to create the curtains for this trailer. So let's go ahead to the bottom to our artboards and do next until we get to, no, let's go back to the beginning. So you can use those at the bottom. And we want to go ahead and grab this one first. And we're going to go ahead and use the scissors to create an open path in order to create this look. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our selection tool. We're going to select this one with the black stroke on it. And let's go ahead and zoom in a few times, Control plus. And what we're going to do now is take those scissors tool. So the scissors are by the eraser. So grab that scissors tool. And what we're going to do is basically cut this path so that we can play with it. So we're going to go ahead and cuts made with scissors have to be on a line or curve rather than the end point of an open path. I don't know why, it's just kind of how it works. So from here we're going to go ahead and drag right through, and it's going to go ahead and cut that open. We're then going to grab the selection tool. Oh, maybe we're not. Let's try it one more time. Scissors, and we're going to drag it straight through. Alright, try one more time. Alright, oh, we need the direct selection tool. Sorry, we're going to grab that selection tool, grab this point right here. It's going to allow us to bring that up. And now I have another end on this end over here, so let's make the other side of those curtains. So it's kind of up to you as to how you want those curtains to look. So when you're happy with it, let's go ahead. Clearly your path does not have to be closed. We still have a fill in there. So let's go, but we're going to go ahead and join that path to create one single area. So let's grab our selection tool, make sure it's all together, and let's go over here to our properties panel and hit join. So it's going to go ahead and close that path for us. Now let's go ahead and play with the other elements. Let's go ahead and make the fill kind of that purple. So we can choose purple number 3. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my stroke to no stroke. Now I want to go ahead and let's group these items. So let's grab our selection tool, grab everything, and let's do a group. And let's do a Control S to save. So that's going to be our window for our trailer. So let's go ahead and go to the next artboard, which is we're going to create this buoy power paint tank thing, but we're going to do it with a knife tool, which is going to create a closed path. So first thing we need to do is add the tool to the toolbar. So if you go to edit toolbar here at the bottom, you should have one that says knife. I've already dragged mine in, so you're going to grab that knife and drag it in here underneath the scissors. So then underneath, you're going to hit escape to hide those. So underneath my scissors now is my knife. And with the knife, we're going to go ahead and cut through this shape in order to make the two separate sections of this element. Let's go ahead, and you can do it any way you want. Kind of make it, oh, I have to have it selected first. Let's hit select on our oval. Let's grab our knife and create that object in two. So now let's go ahead and do a select and a deselect. And you'll see if we grab our selection tool, I now have two different pieces. So let's take that other piece and make it kind of a lighter pink. And let's grab that selection tool and grab kind of the nozzle bring it down. See how those smart guides kind of turn on for you and make it easier. And when you've got what you want, let's grab a selection tool and go ahead and group that one as well. And do a Control S and save that one. So now sometimes we want to cut in a straight line. So let's go ahead and go over to the tent. I'm going to zoom in. So we're going to cut a straight line in order to make this segment right here, the yellow, like tent flap is open part. So let's do a Control plus. Let's do our space bar on our hand and let's kind of scoot over here a little bit. Let's go ahead and grab our selection tool. We want to go ahead and we're going to select this smaller pink triangle because that's the one we're going to end up breaking. And your knife, we're going to switch to our knife tool, and our knife tool looks differently depending on if you have caps lock on or off. If you turn caps lock on, it's going to actually turn into those crosshairs. Zoom in a little bit. If you have caps lock off, it'll just not really show you what's going on there. So you want to make sure you've got those caps lock turned on, so we've got our crosshairs. And we want to go ahead and make sure we can draw a straight line. So in order to do that, we're going to hold our shift and drag down, or alt shift. So we're going to go select this guy. Let's grab our knife. Let's hit our alt shift, and right above it, let's go straight down. See, it's making me go nice and straight. I'm going to let go of the mouse. I'm going to let go of those keys. So now I have two separate pieces, and now I want to add one more. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got that selected. So I want to select this one. I'm going to cut it some more. So let's grab our knife tool, and from the top I'm just going to hit alt so I get a straight line, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it one more time. I'm going to select, and I want to select this smaller section right in here. Now that I've got that smaller section, I want to go ahead and fill that with yellow so we give that appearance of kind of flashlight coming through our tent flaps. So I'll go ahead and turn my caps lock off so I get my elements back. I'm going to do Control minus, zoom out, select all, and let's go ahead and group those. And let's do a Control S, and that's how you draw a straight line. So one of the next things we want to do is play with outlining strokes, and we're going to do that by creating these funky cactus plant things here. So with our funky cactus plants, we're going to go ahead and drag with our selection tool. We want to select this path. So this path is really not a rectangle, it's really just a really fat single stroke. Let's go ahead and bring it down to the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and use the eraser tool in order to create that space. So let's go ahead and do our object. Let's come down here to path, and we want to go ahead and make a outline stroke. So we're telling it to no longer be just the single line. We want it to be the outline of the whole thing. It's creating a closed path. Now we're going to go ahead and use the eraser tool. So it's right above our scissors or our knife. And we're going to go ahead and double click the eraser tool. It's going to say how big do you want it to be. Let's go ahead and make it 20 points. And OK. And from there we're going to go ahead and swipe down to erase part of our edges. So I'm going to do Control plus so you can see a little bit more. And I'm going to swipe down, and it's only erasing my one element. That looks really awful, so let's try it one more time. And I'm going to swipe down and do the other side as well. So that is one incredibly crooked, weird looking cactus, but it's okay for what I need to do. So that is how you can change those different elements into basically change a rectangle into some type of square. I wonder if we can do the same here. If we ungroup. Let's try. I don't know if it's going to work. I haven't tried it before. Nope. The answer is nope. All right, so don't do that. All right, let's go do Control S. Let's go ahead and do our selection tool. Select the whole thing and group it. So we've got our amazingly awesome cactus bits. Clearly ours did not turn out quite as symmetrical as theirs, and I am just fine with that. So the next thing we're going to do is come down here to our truck, and let's do a view, fit artboard and window, so we can see both sides of our minivan. And we're basically going to take it from being a square vehicle to one that's got an angle here at the end. So let's go ahead onto our start one. Let's do a Control plus and zoom in. And we're going to go ahead and grab our selection tool, and we want to select the pieces that we want to cut. So we want to select this one and the light pink and the purple. We want to go ahead, go to our eraser, double click, and let's change that eraser to about 40 points and say OK. And now we're going to use our shift key at about a 45-degree angle from here to cut off this back window. So I'm going to hit shift and pull it down. And you'll see that now I've got a back window that is more of an angle than it was before. Let's grab that selection tool, grab the whole thing. Oh, I don't want to grab start. And let's do a group and grab all that at once. And a Control S to save that. So now what we want to do is play with our trailer that we made, that we're going to be making, needs some tires. So let's go ahead and go to the next artboard. And we're going to create some compound paths. So compound paths, think of them as a donut which can be created from two circles. The holes appear where the two paths overlap. So what we're going to do is make this shape by taking the gray out of the middle. So let's go ahead and grab our selection tool, grab our white, and go ahead and put it, undo, Command Z. Now let's grab from the middle and move it over here to your gray. Now you can see that I didn't get it quite perfect. I'm going to select both and use those align tools, and if I align the horizontal and vertical centers over here on the properties panel, so you've got align horizontal, align vertical, it's going to go ahead and line those up for you just right. So let's go ahead and do object. We want to do compound path or path. Nope, compound path. As soon as I figure out where it went. Here it is. Compound path and make. And see, it's going to go ahead and knock out that center section. Now I can grab that selection tool, move it over here, and I've got one single element. I'm going to go ahead and select all of those. Let's do a align again. Get that totally perfect for my tire. Let's select it and group it. So now we have some tires for our incredibly awesome trailer we're going to be doing here in just a second. So we're going to combine some shapes in order to make the trailer. So let's go ahead and go to this one. You can see that we've got several shapes that we're actually using to create this trailer. So we have a rectangle, we have a quarter of a circle, and we have a full circle in order to make this shape. So in order to do this, we need to actually make one single shape, and we're going to mess with this with our shape builder tool. So we want to go ahead and use our selection, and we want to select all of these items except for the tire circle. Do not select the tire circle. We're then going to go ahead and grab our shape builder, and we're going to start combining some of these shapes together. So we're going to move our pointer from top out over here to here, and we're going to go ahead and combine those two shapes. So see how easy it is for you to use that shape builder to kind of draw and create those shapes. Now we're really awesome. We have we've created that shape, but we still have this little bit extra here, which we don't necessarily want to have. So we're going to go ahead and take that back off, and we're going to do that by hitting the Alt while we hit it. And you see how it's going to turn into that little minus. So we click again, and it's going to go ahead and take that part off for us. Let's do a Control S and save what we've got so far. Now what we need to do is play with the tire itself, because we want to be able to put our tire underneath into this, basically the void, the negative space. So we're going to go ahead with our shape builder, and we're going to go below. We're going to hold Option or Alt and drag up. And we're going to go up here, and it's going to go ahead and undo the whole thing. Escape. Now let's select out so we're not having anything selected. All right, let's go ahead and select both those shapes. And I'm going to hit Alt and drag back in here. Nope, undo. Try it one more time. All right, we're going to grab Shape Builder now. And now we're going to go ahead and grab Alt and come back up through here and say take that section out. So now we have undone that, which is perfect, exactly what we want to do. Let's grab our selection tool. Let's now select on our shape, and you can see we've got that nice little round, exactly the way we want it to be. Let's go ahead and fill it with that pink. And is there a stroke? I think there's a stroke. Oh, didn't fill it with pink. Let's go ahead and fill it with pink and take that stroke to a none. Oh, we still have these two shapes so I'm going to do shift click and make those purple again because somehow I made those the wrong color. So I'm returning that to my purple. That's kind of a pinky red. Maybe you want to make it more red. All right, now we match the sample. Let's do Control S and save, and go ahead and, oh, that's fun. Wonder why that turned a different color. Not sure why that's a different color. We'll make it pink again, call it good. All right, let's go ahead and do a select. Select all of our pieces. Oh. And group those all together, so now we have our trailer. Let's do Control S and save what we've got there so far. And we go ahead and cut this one so that we don't have such a huge upload.